next on the list here, after being leaked not once, but twice, speaking of remasters, Mark Medina, the Batman... Destin's shaking his head, not happy with this.
It's just such a silly thing.
It's
Batman,
for one, it was obvious. For two, I don't like the collection.
Let me spit it out first before we start.
Go ahead.
Batman Return to Arkham has officially been announced by Warner Brothers. It is of course, bundle pack. Now you would think, a new gen Batman remaster, so that's got at least the 3 Rocksteady games in it, right? No. It's got Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. Mm-hmm. And that's it. No Origins, no Knight, which of course Knight's already a Xbox One game. But the studio called Virtuous is doing the remasters, which is a studio that had done the remasters for Final Fantasy X, obviously on the more so on the Sony side there, and Heavy Rain. So not as much familiarity with the Xbox crowd. I didn't know these guys till I looked it up, but
I'm glad that they updated these games, but I played them so many times, I did the guide for both.
Really?
I mean, does this interest you then?
So here's why I'm angry. I'll tell you why right now.
Go.
Okay, so
before you go, let me just note that they're putting more work into this than I had expected in that these 2 games are being redone in Unreal 4, which is pretty cool. So they should... They're not just being file save as 1080p.
Yeah,
sure.
They're being redone in Unreal 4, so that's pretty cool.
The game already looks phenomenal, but
no, it's just the same thing as with the Uncharted collection. I don't know why they didn't put Golden Abyss in there, and I know that was made by Bend and not Naughty Dog, but it's just kind of like if you're gonna call it the Nathan Drake Uncharted collection, I feel like Golden Abyss should have been in there, and so it's the same thing where it's like I don't understand why they're not putting Origins in it for one.
Yeah.
Just because it was made by Montreal, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. A lot of people don't like that game. I think it's just because it doesn't have Rocksteady's name above it.
That's the thing. You make a good point. Hold on a sec, real quick, Destin. You make a good point that a lot of people did skip Origins.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of,
it's not part of the Rocksteady trilogy.
But wouldn't this Return to Arkham pack be a good chance to expose people to Origins that didn't see it, and maybe they'd be like, hey, I really like this, and maybe that makes them go out and buy Arkham Knight if they didn't already buy it.
Well, and a lot of the problems that people have with Origins where the combat feels different and stuff like that, this could have been their chance to go back and kind of clean that up and be like, hey, you guys didn't like Origins before. Not only are you getting the first 2 games, but now we've fixed Origins.
Right. Yeah.
And so I feel like it would make a more complete package.
Also, get the voice actors to maybe redo their lines if they're going to go all out. Who knows?
They could.
Were they bad in Origins?
No, they didn't have Kevin Conroy, and they didn't have.
But Troy Baker is the Joker.
Was different.
He was really good though. Still.
He was like a dead ringer for Hamill.
But it's Mark Hamill in every other game except that one.
Yeah, they'd have to pay Hamill a fortune, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure they had to cough up to get him to do this Killing Joke animated movie that's...
Well, he said
was Conroy in Origins? I can't remember now.
Not in Origins, because he was a young Batman.
Yeah, the whole point was the Joker and Batman are both way younger. Yeah. And so it's like a lot of people say Troy Baker sounds a little different. They're like, well, that's because he's a younger Joker.
Yeah, I wonder if there's some politics involved in this for why, I wonder if...
At that time, Hamill and Conroy said they'd never do those voices again. And then they did them for
true.
Night.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. That Rocksteady got them to come back. But as far as this collection goes, I wonder if there's some politics involved in the sense of Rocksteady is I don't know them. I don't know if they're divas or if they're all super nice people. But it's possible that WB said, okay, well, we're doing this this remaster pack. We're just putting this out. We own you guys. We can do whatever we want. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if Rocksteady went, you are only putting our games in this. You are not putting any other studios.
They shouldn't have that call, though. They don't own the IP.
Well, but they don't have the call. But if you're WB, you want to keep them happy.
That's true.
You do want to keep those guys happy. Now, I'm not saying I'm completely making this up out of nothing. Right. For all I know, Rocksteady said, sure, put in anything you want, and it was WB's call to be like, well, we're just going to do the first 2 games.
They should have just called it Batman Return to Rocksteady.
I like that. That would have been a good way to go. But so for me, we all know I'm not a big fan of remasters in general, but there is the that we talk about the opposite of the statute of limitations with remasters, where it's got to be old enough to sort of not make me think it's just a cash grab.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, Asylum was 2009.
They're old enough.
You know, and even City was 2011. So
City's so good. Like, I don't know
City's my favorite of the
how
three.
are they going to make that look better? City is just so great. And, like, once you beat that game, it's just like you feel more compelled to go back and fix the city because there's a ton of stuff still to do. And, like, the city's still messed up. I don't know. Just with Night, just like once I was done with that game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious. I agree. City's my favorite of the three, but I do think there's I don't think I'm going to go back to these because I have already played the heck out of them like you, but I appreciate that there's more than the minimum amount of effort being put into this. I'd kind of like to see it be less. It's $50. It's not 60, but I would have liked to see them be 40. You know, $20 per game. But you know, I guess I'm kind of splitting hairs at that point. But
I got all the achievements in both Arkham Asylum and I think City also, but it was on a dev kit, so it doesn't
count.
Yeah.
The real world can't see it.
City was the first game where I played through it. I did the guide for it on IGN, and then Retail came out, and I'm like, I want to start again. And I played through I think most of the campaign again.
Yeah.
You know, so
if that would be the one. I mean, Asylum was great, but I think City just improved upon it in every conceivable way.
So good.
If you haven't played Arkham City, that's the one I think you got to go for.
Yeah.
The story in that game is
very good,
shocking and excellent. Play through the entire City campaign.
Even the DLC with like Robin and stuff was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So keep an eye out for that. That is coming it's right about the same time that we just mentioned the Killing Joke animated movies. They're coming out right about the same time later on this summer.